Hey, welcome back to the Natural Aquarium. Today, we're going to learn about that thing that most people don't like to talk about, and it's right there. Oh yeah, Mulm, okay? So we're going to learn hopefully not to fear that stuff and all of the wonderful benefits that it could have for your aquarium. So without further ado, let's dive right in.
If you've done any sort of traditional fish keeping, you've probably used this thing. Maybe a little too much. Because, well, you might have also had a whole bunch of this plastic stuff in your tank too. What if I told you there was a better way? Yeah, all that mulm floating around, well, it could actually be quite useful to your aquarium. So, in this video we're going to detail where does the mulm come from, why you should have it around, and, well, what to do if you don't like it so much. So just what is mulm? Well, mulm is the fine, soft debris made up of fish waste, decaying plant matter, leftover food, and microbial life that you can find usually at the bottom of your aquarium or a natural system as you're seeing here. It's that dusty stuff that, builds up in places where there's low flow. Okay, I get it. Nobody really likes to wake up in the morning and take a look at all this poop laying around. And, well, sure, it could present some problems if it was left unchecked, but we're talking about a natural, healthy aquarium here. And as long as you've got plants and animals and all the things that you should, guess what? It's not a threat for the most part. At the end of the day, nature deals with mulm all the time, so let's figure out how we should let nature deal with mulm in our aquariums. First off, it's food. All that mulm, that gunk, is actually a buffet for your shrimp, snails, baby fish, tiny critters like copepods and ostracods. All of them are down there in there eating it all, and it's tasty. It supports the bottom of the aquarium's food web, which you should hopefully be building so that your fish can eat for free. Nothing better than free, right? Next is that it's a habitat. There's a whole bunch of little micro-habitats created by this mulm. Biofilm that grows on the leaves, the leaf litter itself that hopefully you are adding to your aquarium because it is a food source, is going to offer hiding spots for fry and other small animals. And for breeding setups, this could be essential. And of course, we can't forget to mention water chemistry itself. So all of this leaf litter and stuff that you're adding that will end up in mulm land there, what it's going to do is it will gently soften and acidify the water, making it perfect for some species. But then also, the cool thing is that it has a buffering capacity, so it'll make things better for time to come. And there's also some mild antifungal and antibacterial effects that can be seen from some of this as well, depending on the leaf litter species. Keep in mind though, that leaf litter is not medicine. Let's take an even closer look at what this mulm is. So, it's a mix. It's a mix of organic detritus, which are uneaten food particles, decaying leaves, and fish waste. There's inorganic particles, which could be defined as minerals, substrate fines, things like that. And microbial biomass, which would include bacteria, fungi, protozoans. And there's also going to be some microfauna that are in there, like copepods, rotifers, nematodes, and general infusoria. The soupy substrate of random things is pretty rich in amino acids, fatty acids, minerals, and even simple sugars after they've been broken down from the more complex carbohydrates housed in plants. They're all the byproducts of decomposition. Essentially, it's the aquarium's compost pile if you let it be. It'll be breaking down complex molecules into bioavailable nutrients that can then be taken up by the system once more. As it decomposes, here's what happens. Stage 1. Detritivores. Snails, shrimp, other creatures like the isopod. They'll get in here and they'll start breaking down the larger bits. Stage 2. Bacteria and fungi will start to break down those bits and actually do some decomposing here, where they'll release nutrients like ammonia, phosphate, iron, and other trace elements that plants might like to take up. And in stage 3, those nutrients will feed plants. They will feed any sort of living biofilm that might be in the aquarium. And they'll even fuel all of these nitrifying bacteria that can help stabilize your tank from things like ammonia, nitrites, nitrates. That biofilm that can form on the mulm and leaf surfaces, is often higher in nutrition than most commercially available dry foods that are fed for fry. It'll be loaded with things that they need, especially natural algae and diatoms. And if you've got shrimp that you're trying to raise up, that's gold too. They graze on that mulm 24/7. These little machines never stop. They're feeding not just on the particles that they're finding, but on some of the living things that are also there, the bacteria, all the other little micro critters that call this mulm layer home. That's why mulm-heavy tanks often support stronger, more resilient juvenile fish and invertebrates. You may recall our other video about bioindicators. The mulm itself can be a bioindicator of some sort, and it's a natural way to tell how your tank is doing, especially if you're using any of these natural aquarium types. So here's all the things that you can track. Number 1, color and texture. What's it look like? A healthy mulm will end up being soft, brown, and fluffy like you're seeing here. It looks like a compost heap. If it gets gray, compacted, or starts to smell sulfurous in your tank, that could be a sign that you have too much compaction. It's becoming anaerobic, and could be due to low flow or just too much mulm in the first place. And if you're getting a lot of slimy or stringy mulm, chances are your fish are not eating well, and the system is just not breaking down all of the fats and proteins and stuff that are in it. Also, if you've got a food web going, you can take a look for things like copepods, ostracods, and shrimp. If they're all living there, great. If you're seeing mostly things like planaria or perhaps hydra or no movement at all, there's a chance that you're missing a lot of biodiversity that you should improve upon. You can also look at the rate at which you're accumulating this mulm. Is it coming in fast, hot, and heavy? Or is it slow and gradual and being evenly distributed throughout the tank? If it's coming in too fast, you're probably feeding too much and you need to cut back. Last, you can take a look at the behavior of your animals. Are they freely roaming through the mulm like they should if they are a bottom feeder or perhaps a invertebrate that likes to eat the stuff? If not, maybe there's some toxins or something that are building up in your mulm. When this mulm finally makes its way down to the roots of plants, it creates a living rhizosphere. The rhizosphere is the place around the roots, and this is where all the nutrients are exchanged. And the decomposing matter in that mulm, when it's mixed with things like clay or aqua soils or anything that has very fine particles, it can increase the cation exchange capacity, which is the ability of the substrate to hold and release positively charged nutrients for the plants. If you don't happen to like the look of the mulm, I highly recommend a very thin layer of gravel or rock on top for it to hide in. The key thing here is that, yes, you should be watching your tank, and don't forget to watch the mulm too and how everything in your tank interacts with it.
Hey, thanks for sticking through all the muck and stuff that happened in there. Yeah, and well, if you enjoyed it, you found all this information useful, I'd really appreciate that. Subscribe, maybe a like, and maybe even leave your weird comments about mulm down below. Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting comment section. Thanks for joining us. See you next time. Stay curious.